Mintra. Mintra.
And we are here. We're live. All right. What is going on, everyone? I'm very excited to formally introduce on video for the first time, I believe, Mintra's CTO and slash rockstar dev in general, Paul, also known as HexLive. Good to have you on, Paul.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here. Excited.
Cool. Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited for this stream, and oftentimes in the Hex sphere and the Pulsechain sphere, we see a lot of people talking about a lot of things, but I think it's a treat to have someone like you who could talk deep technicals, someone who's been building, an app on Pulsechain, Mintra, amongst other things. You built PulseXBot and other things, but we'll get into that. We can start off with a little bit of your background, like how you got into development in general.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can give a little quick background. I was kind of bred that way from my dad. He was an engineer, a statistician. He was an aerospace engineer.
Nice. Okay.
On like jet engines and a toilet bowl for the space station. He worked out with Dr. Flush at Hamilton Standard. So like my whole life, I saw him and I'm like, geez, my dad's smart. And I wasn't like the smart kid. I was kind of a delinquent, growing up, did bad in school. I'm dyslexic. Nice. I guess I know I'm dyslexic, but I kind of overcame it in a lot of ways.
Geniuses were.
Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely not on that level, but, I can hang okay. And, but yeah, I grew up with like my dad being like super smart, reading like chaos theory kind of books at night and seeing him like read these like crazy hard books. And all my life he said, become a technical expert, because that's what he was. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Dad, can I have $5, please, or whatever. And then, so that was kind of like my childhood. And I didn't hang around with the geeks, believe it or not. I mean, I'm a geek now. So, might not believe me, but, I didn't hang out with the geeks until, I don't know, not even in college. I studied with them in college, but yeah, so all that time I started getting into computers. I got like a Radio Shack TRS-80 with the cartridges and the tapes and stuff. And that's kind of was the start of like computers. I mean, I was always kind of into building and tinkering with little things. I guess to rewind a little bit, I had like the Radio Shack like circuit board with all the wires and everything, and you could make like it play sound or lights or connect all the little circuits. So that was kind of the beginnings.
So you were a proper delinquent, and your dad's all out here reading chaos theory books. And interesting. So you not really early on you got into development, not even in college, you said. So how old were you when you got into like actually starting to get technical expertise?
Yeah, I mean, even in middle school, I was on like AOL, Netscape. My buddies ran like BBSs back in the day, and little like early cyberpunk-ish stuff. We'd like, I guess this was when I was 16. We'd like meet up at the mall and like smoke cigarettes and like have a meetup. I mean, we had a BBS, a bulletin board system. It's a little, server you'd run at your house, and you could like send messages to people. And mainly, we'd like pirate video games.
So you were smart. You were smart from the beginning.
Allegedly.
Okay, nice. I think the statute of limitations is probably over.
Yeah, that
pirated videos from your youth. But no, that's funny because like I'm getting this energy from you where you were smart enough to be dangerous, to not really give a fuck about formalities or like the matrix, so to speak, and just kind of doing your own thing until you realize like, oh shoot, I have to play the game a little bit. You started playing the game, but you've always had chops. You didn't really, I guess, apply them to the corporate world until later on in your life.
Yeah, and then, high school kind of waned down and I graduated, and I like some of those years in high school, I got like the maximum amount of absences possible without like failing. So
Beautiful.
I would like make sure that didn't go over, and I got all the note. My mom was awesome. She would just like sign me absent notes whenever I want, and
That's a good one.
stuff like that. And towards the end of high school, I was going to go to college. My dad made sure that I was going to go to college, and that wasn't like a for sure thing. Um, it wasn't like for sure that I was going to go to college. Like even some of my relatives were like, "Oh, you got into college?" And I got into a 4-year school, and I got into a computer science program. And yeah, it was tough for me in college. The first year was kind of tough, but then once I got into my, because they weren't a lot of computer classes, it was just like a lot of whatever kind of classes. And then once I got into my computer classes and then some of the easier classes that you take, I was just like, wow, not a lot of people are that good. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people, I wanted to get good grades. That was kind of like my game. I wanted good grades in college. And then I had to I kind of strategize like ways to study and who to talk to, who to link up with, what classes to take, um, and just figured out how to get good grades in college. And then in my computer science courses, you're in there and they're smart people in there. At least they look smart,
Yeah.
and then these guys that look really smart, like these geeks in the classes aren't doing well. And I
Mm.
didn't breeze through. I tried. It was hard for me.
Mhm.
I tried, I studied, and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours like on my computer science classes. I tried really hard and then I was doing well. And then I looked around, and then around that time I started accepting that I could do this stuff and I was like smart enough to do that. And like in the back of my head was like I could always hear my dad. He would always say, "Oh, Paul, you're smarter than me. You can do this. You're smart." And he told me and my brother that. And my brother's super math smart. He's an actuary. He's a big dog over there doing something. He just bought me Ruth Chris, and I got the tomahawk steak. I got the beers. I took dessert to go, all on him.
Dessert to
Yeah.
go. Can't fit it in? Take it.
Oh yeah, I got everything. The steaks came out, and he got a smaller steak than me. And I looked at it, and I'm like, "Oh, I hope that big one's mine." And it was great. And
Let's
we
go.
literally just got back from that now.
Let's
But so my
go.
brother's like a technical expert also. But yeah, in college was awesome. I loved college. I hung out with hippies. I really didn't. I studied with some computer science people, but all my friends were kind of in the humanities and stuff like that. And I
Hmm.
definitely had fun in college. And I don't want to elaborate too much. My son's listening right now,
Oh,
so but yeah, I had great time in college, but I studied hard and I
I
tried.
like that. I like that. The theme I'm getting is like these other guys, they looked smart or whatever, like you said, but at the end of the day, hard work, like that's the one thing, if anything, that can beat quote unquote natural talent is the hard work. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have natural talent and you're hardworking, well, you're a god amongst men, right?
Yeah.
But not everyone can be that. But no, it sounds like you had a good amount of natural talent, I will say that, and then you worked really, really hard, and I mean that's wonderful, dude.
Yeah.
That's something I would love to just teach people that you can't be lazy, you can't be arrogant. That's that's the one thing you have control of, right? You don't have control of necessarily what brain structure you were born with, but you can definitely control how hard you work and what learning and time you put in. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah. And that kind of rolls in. I mean, I guess we can talk about it later, but it rolls into my philosophy now. Like when we're looking at devs and we're hiring
Yeah.
devs and we're like, I'm talking to other devs. Like, it's cool if you're really smart, congratulations, that's awesome. But if you're not
Right.
willing to work, it's like,
Yeah.
what is that going to do? How far is that talent or natural ability going to go if you're not willing to work for it? And I don't think it goes as far, is my opinion. I value hard work a lot higher than, natural talent. I mean, just to be a programmer, you have to have a
Mhm.
certain level to begin with. So,
Yeah.
and I don't even know how much I believe that statement. I think a lot of people could do it if they want and they have the right
Nice.
mindset.
Nice, man.
So,
Well, there you
yeah.
go. You guys heard it. If you put in the work, if you put in the hours and want to learn, and that leads nicely into this next question. Normie question here. To work with Hex, Pulsechain, Pulsechain, what programming language should one learn? I mean, I can kind of take a guess, but I'll let you answer this.
Yeah, I would just say if you're starting out, just learn TypeScript and
TypeScript.
Ether.js.
Okay, TypeScript and Ethers.js. Why those two?
Yeah, I mean, TypeScript is a good programming language to work with. It's widely known. Like, if you know TypeScript, you're employable forever, pretty much, or for a long time. And I guess mainly I would say TypeScript, just because Ether.js is a really widely used API for the blockchain and
Mhm.
framework that people use to interact with the blockchain, and it's super widely used. And if you're just starting out, you don't want to go some obscure route and make your life too much harder. At least be able to use Ether.js and TypeScript, and that'll get you going. And if you want to progress after that, there's a lot of other ways, other avenues you can go on after that, but that'd be like the least friction to
Mhm.
start, getting into blockchain.
Solid. And I know we definitely use a ton of TypeScript in our own app, Mintra.
Yeah, we're
So
pretty much all TypeScript
all
and
TypeScript, baby.
Solidity, it's just all TypeScript
And I
for better or
remember,
worse, a lot of ways to do it,
yeah,
but
we went through this whole, I would have called slightly painful transition from rewriting everything. We had a little bit of stuff written in JavaScript, right? And then we transitioned that into TypeScript. So I'm curious, like, because you say TypeScript and Ethers JS, but what does the JS stand for? JavaScript, right?
yep.
So like, what are the nuances and like little differences between TypeScript, JavaScript, and why would you choose TypeScript over JS?
Yeah, I mean, I'm old school, so I've been doing JavaScript for a while.
Yeah.
So everyone did JavaScript. It's the programming language of the browser. So
Hmm.
if you want to run code in your browser, I mean, now it's a little different, but even now it's mostly JavaScript in the browser. And I haven't done any of the WebAssembly stuff. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think you can run like C++ with WebAssembly in the browser, but I'm a little ignorant around that. But even right now, everything is JavaScript in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the low level. You could think of it as kind of like a low level programming language of the browser.
Hmm.
And people wrote TypeScript for years and years and years, and it's nasty. It doesn't have like typing, which is like when you declare a variable, you don't say that it's a number or a
Ah.
string or an integer or a float. You don't really say that in TypeScript in JavaScript.
Uh-huh.
And so people wrote all these applications in JavaScript, and they wrote, millions of lines of code. And then years went by, and that code was kind of hard to deal with,
Yeah, I
and it
imagine.
wasn't maintainable. And
Okay.
then the super geeks came in, and then they're like, oh, we can do this better. We're going to write a transpiler. We're going to write code that looks at the JavaScript and converts it, or
Hmm.
looks at this TypeScript language that we're envisioning and converts it into JavaScript for you. So when you
Mm-hmm.
write TypeScript, you're writing TypeScript, you're writing along, writing your code. And then what's happening is it's getting converted to JavaScript under the covers. And then what
Interesting.
really is run is that JavaScript.
Interesting. So it's like a higher level wrapper almost.
Yep.
Interesting. Cool. Well, that's good
Yeah.
to know. I'm sure that educated a ton of people. Another question for you, Paul. What was your first computer?
Yeah, my first one was a TRS-80 from Radio Shack. My
You
dad
said that,
got me.
Yeah.
We play video games on it. He would be tinkering with it, trying to get my video games working and showing me, different commands. It had like a cassette, like an audio cassette drive that you would have your games on it, and it also had a cartridge, and it would just hook up to your home television with like
Okay.
the the audio and video in. You get like a special converter box for the back of your TV,
Yeah.
and you'd plug the wires in, and that was your monitor, your TV
So,
at home.
dang, you were using your TV as your monitor back in the day, early.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, I don't know if I was 8. It was it was in elementary school, so it was 4th grade, 5th grade would be the latest.
Man,
It couldn't have been 3rd grade. Yeah, that was elementary school.
the most advanced thing I think I was doing on computers in elementary school was playing Kid Pix. It was like this version of Photoshop, like an early version of Photoshop targeted towards like kids or whatever. But I had this old like orange Mac in the early 2000s, and I grew up in the Bay Area, like Silicon Valley, tech boom, early 2000s. So I was like 5 or 6, and Google's popping off, and like these tech stocks are booming, and I'm out here with this big orange Mac. I still feel nostalgic when I think about it, but no, that's cool, man. A TRS-80, I'll have to look that up. Someone said trash 80, C64. Not sure what that means. Someone said Gerardo's alive, my man. How's it going? It's good. Ruth Chris is my favorite, says Valiant Brand, the man.
Yeah.
You got to get that sometime, bro.
So good. I recommend the tomahawk steak.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to throw around a bunch of these comments from the chat, and then you can kind of pick which ones you want to snag up, and I'll do the same. Will RH coin still pumper? No. Went from 10,000x predictions to a 10x. What the fuck?
Man, I'll take a 10x right now. That'd be great.
That'd be great. Bear market vibes. Hit the damn like button. That is true. Thank you, Funkmaster Hex. You're doing a better job at this influencer stuff than I am. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours. I think that's a Dwayne The Rock Johnson rap quote, and
yeah, it is.
I will permit that on this stream. I will allow it. Hit the damn like button. Thanks again. What's the easiest coding language? That seems like it depends, right? What you want to do. Like it's not just coding.
I'd probably say TypeScript off the top of my head. I mean,
TypeScript,
JavaScript.
Let's see. Brand in the chat. Off topic, but I hope your friend Joe Exotic is doing well. Haven't heard from him.
Yeah, man. He's doing great. I grew up with him. We played hockey together. We fought each other. He choked me out once.
Really?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, we used to battle it out. And yeah, he's a great friend of mine. And he's a big reason why I got into crypto more. Like I shared Hex with him. It was like, yo, Hex, if you're gonna get something, get off Robinhood. And then he went in deep.
He got you off Robinhood?
No, I got him kind of off Robinhood.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
Either direction is cool, but I forgot that was an app, dude. Back in the day, like back in the last bull market, that was kind of the mainstream investing app, but not a fan, honestly. Especially, didn't they do something with Doge or some other thing where you could just buy and not sell? Like,
oh shoot, I bet they did do that to people.
They did some really weird thing where you could not sell a coin. You could just buy it, but you couldn't get out. Terrible, dude. And then I think Richard even joked about it. He was like, should I make a Uniswap fork where you can only hit the buy button, not the sell button? Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, Susan Brazier in the chat. Shouts out to the GOAT. What are some of the challenges of Solidity? That's quite a nice question.
Yeah, Solidity is unforgiving. Like, you have to get it right, and you have to go slow. When you're coding Solidity, you can't just like whip it up and just be good enough to kind of get things going. Like, you really have to think it through. And you could have a great idea in Solidity and you lay it all out, and then there's like a way to game the system. And you're like, oh, shoot,
Right.
I didn't think of that. Okay, I need to change the whole flow or like my whole concept to achieve that result. I have to do it totally different because someone could just do this and that, and now they gamed your system, or they flooded you, or they not even take, maybe not like just stealing money. It's just like they made your smart contract, kind of unusable or hard for the user to
Mhm.
use. It's pretty unforgiving. Definitely write like unit tests like all the time, and
Mhm.
that's your friends, and learn hard hat and learn how to write unit tests and think it through, and don't go fast. Definitely don't go fast when you're doing Solidity. Slow down your thought process, just slow down your fingers if you're a fast typer, and really think that through.
And reentrancy guards are your best friend in Solidity.
Yeah, yeah. What is that? Viper is like another
Oh, that's right. There's Viper.
Viper. Yeah, Viper. Yeah, they had a big reentrancy bug that just happened. So if you wrote your smart contract in that language
No, the whole
instead of
language.
Solidity, yeah, it was at the language level, and it was reentrancy.
Oh no. See, this
Yeah,
is why a lot of people are a fan of using battle tested, already proven, whether it be a language or a blockchain or whatever. Like, if
yep,
it's successfully protected millions to billions of dollars and really um, important code, then probably want to use that instead of the new hotness just because it has this, this little performance or increase or whatever. Like you've always told me that's your ethos is security and data integrity over performance and all the other new
yep.
hotness, which it's a prime
Yeah,
example, man. That's rough.
yeah,
When
that
did that
hurt.
happen? Do you know? Was it recent
That
or
was fairly recent. And which one?
ouch?
Curve got hacked for like 60 million or something
Was that
because of it.
because of Viper?
I think so. I'm not in the Twitter streets hard. I'm like skim reading this stuff. I'm just like, oh, I'm not using Viper. I'm not
Absolutely
using
not.
that. And it was the new hotness. And part of it was because of security. It was like, oh, if you write your code in here, we have all these checks in the language to
Mhm.
help you from, all these different security things. And then lo and behold, like the easiest security hole to kind of plug was the one they had a bug in. So if you wrote your code there and did the reentrancy guard their way, when they compiled that Viper code into bytecode, that reentrancy could be exploited. And that's crazy. And it was the new hotness. And even in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, if it's around another year, maybe
Mhm.
I'll look into it.
Mhm.
And that's good and bad. I like learning new things, but the brand new stuff, when it comes to people's money, I'm not going to do. I mean, if it doesn't have to do with people's money, if it was just a normal thing, I might write a little like MVP or a little small app and something new just to
Mhm.
see how I like it. But
Not in
people, like
crypto.
especially the devs, like drool. Like any dev, like would know, like they just love the new stuff.
I'm
Like even
immediately
our devs, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, let's chill for a little
yeah.
bit, and I'm like, I feel bad, but
You know
and
who I'm thinking about, right? When you
yeah,
say that,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
exactly who you're thinking about.
yeah. I
That
mean,
was
I have to
awesome.
pull
Like
the
you
brakes a
need
little
both
bit.
sides, right? Like you're always holding him back a little, like maybe we don't need that, and he's like, but it has this, and this, and you're like, yeah, but no,
Yeah,
that's hella funny. I know exactly which. It's one of our front end guys.
but I love the new stuff. I love it, and just where it's safe, or try it out. Don't like rewrite the whole app. Just like try out a component. Slice off a little
Hmm.
part of the app and
Hmm.
experiment with that, and then we see how it goes.
Nice. Very cool. Hey, that
Yeah,
was
it's
a
definitely a
very
balance
in-depth answer
there.
to that question. Nice, man. Very
Yeah,
good.
Solidity is a wild ride for sure.
Someone said on-chain NFTs are the future. Pulsechain with its low fees are perfect for it. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. One Lambo, Crypto Profeta. When moon, when soon, when
Yeah, I'd
Lambo.
probably get a Cybertruck before the Lambo.
Nice, nice. I don't know. I'd probably get something unique. Like Lambos are so overrated, I think. You can get that badass engine in cheaper other really cool cars. One Lambo, I don't know, 2026. This is a fantastic interview, says Balliet Brand. Thank you, bro.
Oh,
I'd love to
Valley
have you on
Brand.
sometime. The man.
Yeah, I love his content. I got to chat with him a little bit in Vegas shortly. I got to say hi and get a selfie. Got to fanboy on Valley Brand a little
I
bit. I
got the
love
selfie
that.
as well.
I love doing that to
Floating on
people,
Twitter.
though.
Oh, like fangirling out?
I like it. I like it. It makes people uncomfortable, though, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I got to scream when I saw Hexo. I was like,
Oh,
ah,
yeah.
and he like jumped and his boy like looked at me. It was great. And I was like, damn, Hexo's like big, dude. He's like
Yeah.
tall. You know, he
Yeah.
could just like smush me, like, doosh.
I was taller than you.
Yeah. Or maybe it felt that way, but I was excited. I was in Vegas. I was with my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun.
I'm vertically challenged, so everyone's taller than me.
Oh
That's
man,
something I've just grown to accept is this is life.
yeah.
If you've seen me in person, you know. What do you see as the technical reasons why Pulsechain is such a great new L1? That is a good question.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope, I mean, right now, I mean, it's the low gas fees. That's
Low gas
awesome.
fees. Low gas
And,
fees, increased fee burning relative to Ethereum.
hmm
It's a fun bullish one. What else?
Yeah. I hope Richard has his devs cranking, is what I hope. And that he pulls out like a new feature that Ethereum isn't ready to integrate before them, which goes against the battle tested thing though. So, I don't know if he'll do that, but he might if it bakes along enough in testnet.
Yeah.
Maybe we can beat Ethereum to some of these new features.
That would be cool. I remember reading something. You're like triggering something deep in some of the folds of my brain. Someone saying, don't quote me on this, but I think we could have faster block times if we wanted in a future upgrade. Faster than, because right now we already have faster block times in Ethereum. They have 12 seconds. We have like what, 10 point something seconds, I believe. It's like, I think it's 10 seconds actually. I think it's 10 flat. I mean, you can just check scan.pulsechain.com real quick.
Yeah, it's about 10.
Nice. Are you on it?
No.
Scan 10-second blocks. Yes.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, I can't remember if it was in a builder chat, a dev chat, but it was a reputable enough source for it to stick in my mind and actually be willing to say it here on stream. So I'm pretty sure someone reputable said that we could have faster block times if we wanted in a future upgrade. So that's pretty cool. So faster block times, increased free burning, technical reasons from a technological level. I mean, we copied over the full Ethereum system state, and therefore it's crazy. It's like there aren't even many good analogies to come up with just because it's such a unique kind of unprecedented thing. But I can think of many social reasons.
Yeah.
But you'd obviously be better at going in depth into the technical reasons. But
Yeah, and the technical ones, it's a copy of Ethereum. I'd be interested to see the git diff of the Pulsechain code with the Ethereum code. I never did that. But it's it's an Ethereum clone. So compared to Ethereum, it's going to be, the gas. It's going to be a big one. And then any little tweaks he did, with the fee burning and some other little tweaks. But yeah, it's an Ethereum clone, so it's going to be close. And other people can shill that better than I can. But technically, I'm just like, well, it's an Ethereum clone. It's lower fees. He did some tweaks with, burning a little bit more. So that's cool. but those are the main ones I see.
The funny part about Pulsechain as a solution is it's an L1 horizontal scaling, as Richard likes to say, solution.
Yeah.
Where questions like these, they're good, they're awesome, but in reality, it only needs to be slightly better, and it just created more block space. Truly, at the end of the day, it's like, well, Ethereum's clogged. Well, not necessarily clogged, I guess, but the block space is expensive, as is reflected by gas fees, and it's a bidding market at the end of the day, isn't it? The gas fees are a bidding market.
Yep.
And so, I mean, the horizontal scaling idea, I think, is really cool, because you don't need to be a million times better in this regard and in this regard and this regard. You're like, no, it's the same, slightly better in these small parameters, but it's more. At the end of the day, it's another Ethereum. There aren't many. I don't think there are any Ethereum hard forks out there with full system state, are there?
No, other than the new ones I'm forgetting that were right before Pulsechain, Fair.
Oh, Ethereum work, proof of work.
Yeah, POW. I aped into those a little bit. Are those doing anything? Because I have some on there. I forgot about
they existed, man.
Yeah, I haven't been on there in a while. And with Pulsechain, I'm transacting a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm transacting a bunch more than I ever have on Ethereum.
Interesting, really?
Because it's so cheap, it's just, it's so cheap to transact. So I'm in there, making some more trades, doing some more LPing, where normally I'd be like a little worried, where it's like the gas is so much, making stakes. There was that S load stuff that was screwing all the, the Hex stakers. And I wonder if I don't think they changed anything with that, but like, that was a big reason.
The irony in that.
I think I paid like $80 to end a stake on Ethereum the other day, like weeks ago or a week ago, something like that.
That is disgusting. I remember the most I've paid ever to end a stake. I think it was like peak bull as well. Bro.
Yeah.
Easily $500 or 800 or something stupid. There was, luckily the stake at the time was worth more.
Yeah.
I can't recall if I sold it at the time for that to even matter now, but no, it was bad, dude. It was very bad. And then you go on Pulsechain,
easily
like $1. You're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
That's funny though. I mean, it'd be fun to see one of those sites pop up. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a site where you can check how much ETH you've spent in gas over the lifetime of an account.
Oh, that's cool.
No,
I've never done that. I would like to check that out, because I had some multi-hundred.
You don't want to look at it, trust me.
I feel I had one that I paid $500 in gas, but it might have been lower. And then I just erased it. Or if it was 500, I just erased it out of my brain. Because I used to fret in the beginning over like dollars. I'm like, oh, I'll just put some low gwei. I don't care. I'll just wait. And my buddy would like be losing his mind. He's like, yo, you got to lower the, and I'll be like saving $1 or $2 in the beginning. And now it's just like, it could be hundreds of dollars. It's crazy.
I think it was a wonderful thing to fork Ethereum and create Pulsechain, because it's like with Hex, you had this initial tranche of people who they got in early, they made their money, and they don't really mind unstaking for hundreds of bucks or even upwards of 1,000 plus, because their stake was so profitable at the time. But then, Richard being a good founder and good builder, he looked at it and like, well, there's this whole tranche of people who are not profitable because these stakes are so high and because they got in a little later. So let's launch this thing. And if you've staked out long enough to see Pulsechain launch before your stake ends, right, 2+ years, well, then there you go. Cheap gas fees. And I mean, Hex is more expensive now on Pulsechain than Ethereum. So however you want to interpret that. But yeah, no, the gas fees were insane. And I remember back in the day, I got into Hex early, like 2019, literal launch month. I remember I was making steaks for like 1 penny, 2 pennies, 3 pennies. And I was actually a little annoyed when it got to like 10 to 20 pennies.
Yeah.
I was proper annoyed at 10-cent hex steaks. Man, I miss those days.
Yeah, times have changed since then. Yeah, I was the same. I was the same. I got in like maybe around the middle of the adoption amplifier, and it was like the same thing. And then by then I think it was dollars.
Yeah, then it got to dollars, and then now it's God knows what. Let's see, Crypto Profeta. Ahaha, just joking. When can we expect Mintra? Soon. Quite soon. Let's see, is the dev running MEV bot on Pulsechain? I think you're the dev in question.
Yeah.
Are you? You're running MEV bots?
What? No.
What? No.
No. What are those?
Nice. Block times quicker. I would like to see a Lido DApp. Isn't that like the whole staked ETH thing?
I've heard of a
Lido staked ETH. Man, I have not looked into that. I've never staked my Ethereum, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely staked.
I don't even know if I hold enough ETH for it to make sense.
There's so much happening. Like I'm learning stuff on this stream already.
Yeah.
Fran gave us a link to that fees. We have some
Oh,
Lido. There's just so
man.
much changing. I'm always so impressed how people keep up.
That's the one, yeah. Fees.w2f.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? I was thinking the same thing earlier. Like I took a step back, I zoomed out, and I was like, we did not have this many builders back in like 2019, 2020 when all we were was an ERC20 community with Hex. And now I'm seeing people build proper apps, proper DApps, and it's crazy to me. Like you have DEX aggregators on Pulsechain, you have multiple of them. You have stable coins, you have fiat on-ramps, you have statistics sites, better than a lot. Some would even say better than anything we had back in 2019, 2020. It's like we're growing as a community and we're bringing high IQ people, dude, that can actually build things and have the chops. It's super cool to see. And like obviously fees.w2f, that's not community built, but you kind of sparked that thought in me that we've evolved a lot, dude, as a community. Like it's wild. Take a step back, zoom out, recognize that to everyone. It's crazy.
Richard motivated and educated a whole community of people.
Yes, dude. We went from just holders to now everyone, not everyone, but there are a lot of founders that he enabled too. You know, he inspired a whole generation of crypto nerds, dude.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely motivated me. I'm over in corporate America grinding it out, like, you know, learning but not getting too far. And then crypto hit, and, you know, I did a little bit well, and he motivated me to kind of shake out corporate America. I hope I never have to go back to that.
I feel you there.
So that would be, you know, and there's a lot of people like me, and all these young guys, they're good, man.
Yeah.
These guys are coming up strong, and all these projects, they look really good, and it's just getting started on Pulsechain. I mean, this is the beginning.
Just getting started, baby. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. It would be, Pedro says, it would be nice if infrastructure providers would add Pulse. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Running
more sucks.
Dev project to start a dev incentive to attract more projects. I'm kind of a fan of the idea. I have played around with this idea in my head of a Pulsechain Foundation or something, but it would obviously have to come from a very reputable source, if not Richard Hart himself. Because obviously the Ethereum Foundation, they give grants to these people with cool ideas who have the idea, may have the chops, they have the expertise, but they don't necessarily have the capital or the free time to build their thing. I think that would be awesome, man, because we don't have that yet. At least I don't think we do. That would be really cool. It comes with its own set of challenges, obviously, but No, that'd be really cool. Like a foundation that funds really good ideas to build on Pulsechain, to bootstrap more infrastructure and legitimize the chain as something that has everything you would want on an EVM. Because like we hinted at ETHW and ETH earlier, they launched without a proper bridge, without a proper DEX, and people kind of just scrambled to build things. And I guess that's the downside of kind of launching out of nowhere. I didn't expect ETHW. I didn't expect ETH
Yeah.
I just like one day logged in and everyone was shilling this new chain and it was like, yo, you have an airdrop. And I'm like, what? It's they beat Pulsechain to the system state for it. And you're like, all right, let's go see. You see these green candles. You see, I won't name names, but you see people like shilling this hard on YouTube. And I'm like, probably
it's the Hex contract, you know, it's the same immutable code. They're shilling it hard.
Right.
And I got in. They got me excited. I went in.
Nah, man, I got out.
I sold my Pulse Doge at the top, like close to the top. I sold it. It never happens to me.
Selling tops feels good. It does.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the first time I ever sold so close to the top. And then I pretty much just took that.
We're out here doxing ourselves. Now you're going to have people scrambling to the PLSD chart on ETHW. Like, where's HexLive? What's his address?
Yeah.
He sold the top, he said.
I wish that was easier to do. It's kind of hard to do that kind of stuff, but yeah.
Logically, it's easy-ish. Emotionally, it's probably the hardest thing a human can do.
Yeah.
Right? It's really difficult. Not the hardest. It's a little exaggerated, but no, man,
that was fun. It was like the first time like Hexicans got like a little shook up. Like, when I heard Pulsechain was happening, I was talking with my buddy and I'm like, all this, Hex is going away. Like I knew when the new L1 was going to come out that all this craziness was going to happen just because, because it's a whole new chain. We need everything. It's not going to just be Hex, even then, was Hedron out then? I think it was. Hedron had to have been out. But even then, Hedron shook up people. They're like, Hedron? No, Hex. What's this Hedron stuff,
That launched in February, I think, of 2020. Man, I know that launched in February. Could you believe me? I can't remember if it was 2021 or 2022.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And came true, all the meme coins, all the tons of projects. Like it's way better than what I thought. I mean, we have tons of projects.
I'm impressed. Just honestly, I'm proud of our community and how far we've come. I really am.
Yeah, because like small projects, you can do on your own a small project, but with like that foundation stuff, a bigger project you can't do on your own. It's tough. I mean, it's very difficult to do a big project on your own, and depending on the size, it's going to be impossible. It's going to take way too long, or there's not many people in the world that are going to dedicate all that time or be able to for a big project. So like those foundation things to kind of bootstrap kind of the larger projects is cool, and the smaller ones I think we do with like donations and if Hex went up a bunch and you got some Hex, cool. Now you have some free time. Perfect.
Boom. Yeah. And some people did that probably. They just made their money off of Hex and they're comfortable now. And they're like, well, what can I do for this community? And I can think of a few really cool examples of projects out there like that are very pure. One that comes to mind is Matty Allen's Time Pays Me. Shout out to Matty, bro. That is something special, right? Because that built a protocol around the thing holding, right? He built a protocol around holding and generalized it because holding was a thing that made the Bitcoin guys millionaires or billionaires. Holding was a thing that Hex is built around and what staking is designed around. And he was like, well, let's just generalize this to like, I don't know if it's every coin, but I think obviously you can lock up your PLS or your PLSX and drip it out over time. And he even did the math on like that famous Bitcoin seller who said something like, I should have held my 8-cent Bitcoin instead of selling it 30 cents or something like that. and now it's worth like 30K. And he did the math on if he had just dripped out with Time Pays Me, and he would have been a multimillionaire versus just making like a few K.
Oh, that's
so yeah, a lot of community members just killed it off of Hex, and now they're building really cool shit. So yeah, there are multiple avenues to bootstrap these builders, whether it's foundation, just killing it with your coin, donations, but it's a beautiful thing that people are building and legitimizing Pulsechain and giving us everything we could ever want. Like I hinted at earlier, we have stable coins, we have we have statistics sites, we have DEX aggregators. What else, man? There's the nice
all those sacrifice sites. Just we need all that analytics kind of sites. There's the Hedron site. I'm forgetting the name now. It's like Hedron Stats. I talked with the dev over there. He was pretty awesome.
HSI Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Hex staking front ends. Another one just popped up the other day. I thought I was cool because I was like, looking to Hex is going to make staking front end, and everyone else just like beats me to it. And I was like, all right, well, now we just have to make it, better. Fun fact, by the way, about the Hex staking front ends, they all show slightly different values for yield. I talked to one of our devs the other day, GameSys, and he was like kind of freaking out because like the official go.hex.com has a certain yield number. Maddie's tshare.app staking front end has a different yield number. What else? There's a bunch. Another hex.win has something slightly different. The new one that popped up, something slightly different. It's like, dude, no one knows how to calculate hex yield.
Yeah, the precision gets tough a little bit. Yeah, maybe the official one's wrong by a little bit, like, and who knows who's right. I'd probably bet on Richard's site, but who knows?
Richard's site, the one closest, actually identical to that, is the Hex Toys one, the new one that popped up. Mm-hmm. And then ours more closely mimics Maddie's tshare.app. So we're probably doing the same calculation as him, and Richard's probably doing the same calculation as Hex Toys guys. But one fun little, I guess, Easter egg for you devs is you probably want to use hearts and shares instead of Hex and T-shares, because you might lose some granularity with doing Hex and T-shares, right? You lose some precision.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the actual fundamental unit is hearts and shares.
Yeah.
So you probably want to use that. I'd have to dive deeper to see who's actually getting it precise, but that's just a fun fact. Yeah, all these Hex staking front ends are popping up. I'm trying to get it right with the yield data.
Looks dope.
Oh, they have one too, GoPulse, and they have something different than everyone. No one knows how to calculate hex yield. It's hilarious to me. Honestly, drives me kind of crazy, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Let's see. Let's catch up on the chat. Referring to the fees.w2tf, Brand says, input your address. Don't connect your wallet. Only manually input it if you're masochistic enough to see your total gas spending. Yeah, you have to be prepared for some pain to see how much ETH you've spent. Funkmaster says, gross. I don't know. I don't know how much I've spent.
I'm going to check that site out.
Right now, it's a bit of a pain. Interesting. Right now, it's a bit of a pain to manage all events from Pulse/contracts. Makes it harder for projects to adopt.
Yeah, events are tough. I mean, we have all kinds of listeners for different events and pars in the data. And, you have to look at the smart contract to see exactly, even the Hex contract, those events are hard. They smashed 4 variables into one, and you have to parse the ones and zeros. And,
oh, Jesus.
That's kind of how I started with the blockchain stuff. But yeah, I was just looking at that stuff, and it's difficult. The events are tough, and at Mintra we have all kinds of we got good at creating these listeners for all these types of events. And shout out GameSys, he kind of revolutionized some of that. He took some of the initial ideas and made it awesome.
He's the man. He taught me something the other day. He was like, fun fact, once events are indexed, sometimes they get taken out of the raw data and they just go into the what is it called?
Topics.
The topics. Thank you.
Yeah.
And little did we know they can get thrown out of order. So it's like, okay, well now we need a contract ABI to be official and published and out there, and you can get that from the source code if you want. So you need the source code to make sure your raw data is in the right order. It's just it goes deep, man. But
it does go deep there. Yeah.
It goes deep.
And there's a possible way to like figure it out, but I was like, yo, let's chill on that. Let's chill on that for now. That's so cool. Creepy. It's definitely cool that we could, you could go a little deeper and possibly figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets a little crazy.
We have something fun around events coming up, but I will leave it as that. Crypto Profeta, my man. You guys need to keep up. It's going very fast. The space is moving like crazy. Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Susan Fraser, what are some of the coolest new DApps? I'll answer this one to start, and then I'll let you answer the rest. I like the DEX aggregators and the new DEXs. I'm a fan. So let's be real. You don't have any EVM without multiple DEXs. Like, sure, you have the main. On Ethereum, you obviously have Uniswap, but you have 1inch, which aggregates Uniswap and all the other DEXs, like the Curves of the world. I'm sorry, is Curve a DEX? Man, I'm fried. I know Balancer is. Balancer is like PHUX, Fox. I'm a fan of them.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the new DEX aggregator, Petius. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but these DEX aggregators, they pretty much make you the arbitrage bot, effectively, because they distribute your order across all DEXs, across all available liquidity. So instead of just pumping or dumping the price on one DEX and then the other DEX is being like, oh, there's arbitrage, and then getting their gains out of there, you distribute it across all of them, and boom, you have the best order execution and take away potential profits from MEV bots. So I'm a fan of Pytheas, fan of Fox, and those two are really cool. I know Alex is doing his whole icosahedron redeployment, so I haven't looked too deep into that, but that's another cool one, a proper hex derivative on Pulsechain. He's doing some cool multi-chain stuff, which I haven't wrapped my head around it yet, but he's one of the smartest guys in this community for sure, man. Like,
oh yeah, I'd love to pick his brain. Yeah. Like, be able to get an hour just to, just talk philosophy of blockchain or something like that. Maybe you'd need more than an hour, but yeah, he's special for sure. I'm excited for his project.
Protect Alex at all costs. Hey, Paul, what was the hardest part of developing on Pulsechain? Is it as simple as following ETH tutorials and changing it to Pulsechain? That's a good question.
I mean, initially developing's not too bad. Like, if you're just gonna like scrape some data and show it, like I started doing some of that with like liquidity pools. You could start playing around with Uniswap V1 and V2 and just like pulling data out and displaying it. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's not too hard. At Mintra it was harder because we're just trying to solve a bigger problem, and we need to get data fairly fast.
Yeah.
So that stuff's kind of hard, and we want a good user experience, and a lot of that stuff's that's harder. And our marketplace is unique, and we wrote our own marketplace from scratch, so that's hard. You got to do the Solidity, you need a team, you need to write a back end, you need to write a front end. A lot of that stuff is just difficult, and there's a lot of code, and we did everything from scratch, so that stuff made it harder. But you don't have to do that. That stuff's hard, and then you also need to learn Solidity, and now you need to learn TypeScript, and now you need to know how do I deploy servers, and how do I write this code in a manageable fashion. So we have all these little services everywhere, these kind of microservices that run on their own. So you don't have to reason about a huge code base all the time. You're just thinking about a little thing. So at scale, software development gets a lot harder. But if you're just starting out, write a small app. And it's hard. It's not easy writing a small app. It's hard, but it gets not exponentially harder, but it gets like linearly like harder as the code base grows, as inherently overall your complexity is bigger. But if you boil down each piece of your application in a small package, now you can reason about each one. And as long as they interconnect in a simple way, now it's not as hard to kind of like reason about the whole system. So in blockchain, I'd say, Solidity's tough, getting the data's tough, parsing the events somebody did a comment on, that gets kind of tough. And now, you have all the events. Now you need to query the events, you need to order the events. It definitely gets tough. It's not just like writing a front end for a smart contract. That's not easy, but if your app is just smart contract and front end, awesome. It's not easy for sure. Right. I'm not saying that's easy, but it's a lot smaller and a lot easier to deal with.
The lightweightness of that sort of app is so attractive.
I want to do that next. Front end Solidity. That's it. That'd be great. Yeah. Beautiful, next dude. Application, we need to figure that one out.
Right. No back end, nothing crazy, just front end and Solidity. Another cool project I forgot to mention when they were asking about coolest new DApps. I'm a fan of the Pulsepunks, believe it or not. They really just put their stake in the ground, man. Like, we're the first major 10,000 unit collection deployed on Pulsechain on mainnet. And I mean, it's a feeless little marketplace for their contract, which is really cool. You can trade their Pulsepunks there. They have a community royalty pool. So I'm honestly a fan of that. They've given me good inspiration, and I like the speed with which they move. It's like, boom, we're out here. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of them too.
Yeah, I've been meaning to buy one of those. And they're out in the streets. They're on Twitter. They're in the space. They're out there.
Pretty sure I bought one like a week or two ago. Yeah, no, I got one.
Yeah, I've been wanting to, but I just want to use a different wallet, and then I get lazy. I don't want to. I gotta just do it. Yeah, I'm on their site now.
This is a long question. Let's see. What are your opinions on the copies matching the ERC20 price? Oh, like PRC, ERC parity. Everyone's saying nah, but what if Pulse pumps 100x versus ETH and some PRCs 10x versus Pulse? There's a lot of speculation here. Could Hart's law have an effect? Yeah. Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my answer.
Probably not. Probably not. I hope Shiba pumps. Shiba's my guilty pleasure. I'll buy some Shiba every now and again.
Nice.
But
yeah, dude, it's hard because these are very complicated, non-deterministic systems that depend on just people, market behavior, mass market psychology, and so like, I don't know, man. I think any speculator is probably just flapping their lips, including myself back in the day, and even these days when I'm just talking about prices. It's any technical analyst any respectable one, in my opinion, is just doing their best job at remaining neutral while presenting facts.
Yeah.
So like, I have no idea how to answer this.
I mean, did you think P Hex was going to be higher than E Hex? I mean, I didn't.
You did?
I did not.
You
no.
did not?
No, I should have. Like, in hindsight, I'm like, the S load, why would you want to stake? The hexagon. I wish I thought this a year, before. I wish I thought this. But now that I think about it, I'm like, of course p-hex is going to be higher, right? All the hexagons are here, the s load. But I did not think that. I was like, yeah, e-hex is going to be higher, and cool, now I'll get to scoop up some cheap p-hex. That was my thoughts before
Yeah.
Pulsechain.
I can't even pretend because I'm publicly out there. Like, you can probably clip me saying something from a year ago, and I remember saying something along the lines of maybe eHex will actually have a little premium. Or wait, hold on, no. Actually, I did say pHex would have a premium, but that was because I was taking into account staking and end staking fees on Ethereum being higher. So in general, I was looking at like, okay, what does it take for a user to come in, buy some eHex, stake that eHex, then unstake it? And then like look at that bundle of how much they paid, then look at Pulsechain. And it was like, it's obviously going to be cheaper on the gas fees. So I was just kind of adding more value to the coins themselves because the gas is so low, and I was thinking they'd be equal. So I thought pHex would have a slight premium, only eating up like, I thought that premium would really be made up of the difference in gas fees. And I actually don't know. I haven't done the math if that's the case, but I think the premium is a little higher than that, to be honest. I think it's 2x right now, which, I mean, it depends on the amount of hex you're staking and when you're unstaking. So it's really crazy math, but to be fair, I did think there would be a slight pHex premium. Maybe not as crazy as it has been, like 2-3x, but I thought it'd be like, I don't know, 10%, 20%. But the market showed us the way. It showed us the truth, the reality of the matter. Cheers, fam. Even ratio of likes to viewers. What? Is that true? Yo, that's kind of epic. We have 59 likes and 55 viewers. Man,
wow. Thanks, everyone. That's awesome.
Good shit. But yeah, man. We haven't really shilled Mintra because we are moral folk out here, and we talk about everything, and then just when it's appropriate. But yeah, we've been live on testnet for like a good month, so I do want to give a shout out to the thing we built over the past year that has been hanging out on my screen for the last hour. Go check it out, guys. I'll drop a link in the chat because we've worked very hard on this, and I mean, I'd speak for probably you and our entire team when I say I'm proud, dude. I'm proud of what we've built. Sometimes I just zoom out and I'm like, honestly, kind of blown away. Boom, I just dropped the link in the chat. Test.mintra.pro. Go check it out, you guys. I'm really proud of what we've built. If you have Pulsechain NFTs on testnet, go flop around. Get your mainnet strategy locked in before we launch. Could be any minute now, right? Let's go.
Yeah, super exciting. Come a long way. And I think we're making changes all the time. I mean, we're putting in some decent features now.
It's true. It's true.
I don't know. I forget how much. I don't know how much you made public, but like, yeah, we're working hard. We have a lot of features.
Let's talk about it.
We're in a good spot. Yeah. Like we have a nice base of infrastructure to be able to roll with the punches in the future. However we need to, morph in the future or adapt in the future. We're in a very good spot to do that.
I like when you highlight that we've built enough of a foundation in our infrastructure where if we want to add new features like we are doing currently, it's not that bad. It's quite easy. Just give it a couple weeks or hell, sometimes even a few days, depending on like the complexity of the new feature and how it ripple effects through the rest of the code base. But as of now, I've more than hinted. I've actually leaked that we are supporting PRC20s. So now you can not only trade your NFTs with PLS, but you will be able to trade them with PRC20s on testnet and probably, I don't know. I want to say next week, but who knows, right? Probably next week or the week after. I see your face kind of cringing at my timelines. Yeah, on testnet, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, shortly. It's working on private testnet, so that's cool. But yeah, guys, all the bells and whistles. all the bells and whistles. There's that, and then they're supporting ERC 1155s, which there was an article that came out like a week ago saying like Mintra doesn't support ERC 1155s, and we do. And I'm just like, bro, that's coming next week. Like, we have made your article obsolete nearly immediately. I don't know. Whoever wrote that should probably be fired, but it's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat. I mean, maybe now it feels like there's not a lot of meat on the bone, but
there's plenty.
There's a lot out
So
there.
much.
There's definitely a lot out there. And yeah, that article, I read it and whatever. It's nice to have some haters. I don't know. I'm looking for haters out there.
I wouldn't call them haters. I mean, it's competition. It's a friendly business war, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was slanted. It wasn't too bad. I guess it could have been a lot worse. It was a little slanted, but that's cool. You know, we're gonna, I hope, keep developing and everything successful. And
wait, you're telling me an article written on the blog of a competing NFT marketplace is slanted?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? I don't even think Mintra has a blog. I think we're too busy for that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done talking crap. No, I love those guys. Honestly, they're cool. If we met them,
I would like to meet with the devs, but I'm not the greatest business person either.
I would chill with them, but in business, it's war, baby. Like,
yeah,
get out of my lane.
No,
it's fun. It's competition breeds excellence, as we know, and honestly, it makes things so much better for the user. It makes things a little hellish for the ones in competition, because now it's like, now we're racing and now we're trying to one up each other. But in reality, it's like, who are you one upping each other for? It's for the users. Now they're getting, maybe they're getting a cheaper experience, a faster experience, more features, better UX. So the users always win. The builders, endless suffering, but this is what we signed up for. Someone says mid-May. Oh, God, I hope not. That would be next year. No, definitely not. What are some of the key features of Mintra, says Susan? That is a good question. Some key features of Mintra. Well, we have the Mint token. We have MSIs. We have the compare feature for NFTs. We have a cool, nifty little profile section. We have the ability of buying and burning. We have forked over NFTs and new NFTs, a new and thriving community. Competitive fees, adjustable at that, able to be between 0 and 3.69%. So we could adjust at any given moment and pivot quickly if anyone wants to undercut with fees. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a ton. Depends what you want to dive into, right?
And we had some customization around the Wattses and the HSIs. It's not super easy getting that.
Thank you.
That data, and it's on chain. I think which one gave us a little trouble? The HSI. We had to write a listener to get the data.
Yes, I think in particular you're talking about changing metadata that changes on a frequent or day-to-day basis. So the HSIs, they're constantly gaining hex yield because they're just encapsulated hex stakes. So the amount of mintable hedron and the amount of hex yield changes every single day. So therefore, your metadata changes every single day, and you need to keep up with that changing metadata. Same with the Wattses. So that's quite nice that we're able to keep up with that for sure.
And our buy and sell mechanics and our auction mechanics and our offer mechanics are kind of the way we lock things up and we make it for real. Like when you make an offer on something, someone can accept it and just get the funds. It's not like you say, "Oh, I promised I'm going to make an offer, and if they're still in my wallet, you can get it." Like when you make an offer, those funds are there for the person that could accept that offer, and it's the same. There's a lot of that kind of stuff we could go into, and I think that sets us apart. Some of the other guys were talking about how their marketplace, the mechanics work on the auction, the buy and sell. It's more of like a softer method, which is cool. That's another way to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that kind of distinguishes us from the other marketplaces. When you put something for sale, like there, if it stays for sale, somebody can buy it. You can't like say it's for sale and transfer it out of your wallet, and now it says it's for sale on the site, but it really isn't. So our site, when it says it's for sale, it really is.
Yeah, that is true. And we debated a lot about this back in the day when we were
Yeah.
designing this. And there are pros and cons. So the pros of the way we do it, it reduces the velocity of the NFTs a little bit, which if you look at a fully mature market in economics, slower velocity usually equals higher value. So that was kind of a little bit of inspiration leading towards that. But not only that, I didn't want users to go make an offer or put something for sale. Someone goes to buy it and then, oh, transaction failed. The user has now moved their NFT and it no longer exists there. So that's kind of a crap experience for the user, I thought. And so it is more locked up. And you know what? I think Hex and Pulsechain and in general, our community, they're used to that. They're used to locking up. So that was kind of the inspiration I thought was like, it'll move a little slower, perhaps give it more value because it's moving slower, and a very real swap experience where it's always there. If you make an offer, they accept it, it's there. There's no failed swaps because a user decided to move something after listing it. I guess the cons, to be fair, would be that if it's listed on Mintra, an NFT in particular, you can't list it somewhere else because now you've properly locked it up, unless you decide to unlist it, which you can do after 24 hours after initially listing it, to avoid spam. Obviously, we did that little time lock. And again, I think our community is a fan of time locks. So I didn't think it was too big of a deal to give that proper user experience.
Yeah, I kind of like that. That's a differentiator because say everyone's like, oh, I really wish I could do soft locking. We could just write the smart contracts to do it that way.
Yeah, we could.
And add that feature. But I kind of like it in hindsight right now. I like the way it is. It's kind of like the simplest way to buy and sell things, I feel, and the simplest way to do an auction or the simplest way to do an offer is my current opinion on all that. I like the purity of that a lot.
A mini truth engine. Nice. Yeah, I sometimes call it a commitment engine, but yeah, it's effectively the same thing. It's like you said you're gonna put it for sale. Well, there it is. It's for sale. There's no fibbing here. I like that you recognize that, Russ. Thank you. This is a good question from Paul Sachs. Will the Mintra token be a vital and necessary part of the front end? No, it's kind of cool. And then they ask, will it be needed to transact? No. So like I said earlier, we will support transacting with PRC20s. So you can buy and sell your NFTs with Mint, as with USDC or DAI or PulseX or Hex or whatever, but it won't be necessary, right? You can, if you wanted, you could use the marketplace and never actually touch the Mint token. You can just swap around, buy NFTs, use other tokens, and never have to touch the Mint token. And vice versa, you could, buy Mint, stake Mint, whatever, and never touch the marketplace. So they're synergistic in the way they work with each other, but you're not forced to do both in a way. Like if you want to be part of our NFT ecosystem, you could do it from a sort of like degen ERC20 token staking kind of a DeFi angle, or you could do the other NFT bro angle. And I think it's a really smart way to design what we did, to design it the way we did, because you're effectively getting all these different tranches of people. Like it's almost like I don't want to say like A/B testing, but you're getting multiple demographics, I think, and it's not necessary to do one or the other. It's just do what you want. Someone says, where can I find the official contracts of Mintra? They're on scan.v4.pulsechain.com. They're on the testnet block explorer. Paul and I did our due diligence. We uploaded the source code, made sure it was verified, so you can go see the source code. It's all there, and there's even a tweet I made on the official Mintra.io Twitter, or the X, the Mintra X account.
Yeah, I wish I had those links more. I don't even know. I'd have to look for them myself because we're always on we have a private testnet site where we're, developing all these new features before we push it out to testnet. And that's kind of where we live right now.
And I will drop it in the chat. That is the Twitter post on the Mintra.io Twitter, and it has all the official contract addresses of all of our contracts. The Mint token, the Mint Pulse pool on PulseX V1, the buy and burn contract, staking contract, the ERC 721 marketplace, ERC 1155 marketplace, and the Launchpad factory. Boom, they're all there. Yep. Just dropped it in the chat. Yeah, man. Cool. So I mean, we covered a ton. I think it was a very educational stream. People are hyped in the chat. Good questions, good vibes. Any final words you want to say before we hop off?
Great time to be in crypto. The price is down, and it hurts. It hurts me when the price is down. It's like, oh no, it's cool. Just, 30% down. That stings.
Sucks.
But we're in here. I'm DCAing. I might look at Fux. That's cool. Nice. That's one of the DeFi apps I want to start using more because I looked at their ratios and I'm like, it's close to what I'm DCAing with in terms of the percentages. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I linked up with Gerardo and got this opportunity. It kind of revived me in a lot of ways and gave me a lot of confidence. All the software stuff, leading teams, all that stuff. I got to use a lot of the skills I developed in the my previous years, and it's a lot more exciting in crypto. Try to escape corporate America if you can. It's great out here in the crypto streets.
Sick, man. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. I know we talk very often in depth with the dev team and building this thing, but it's awesome to have you here and share your skills and your ability and all your hard work with everyone, man. So thanks for coming on, and I will leave everyone with that awesome animation. So thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, glad to be here. Peace out, everybody.